Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. I got a lot of stuff to cover today, so I want to jump right into it and start with the first story, which is that you will be able to play Overwatch for free this weekend starting on July 26th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 11 a.m. Pacific, and that is 7 p.m. British Standard Time. So if you don't already own the game and want to play Overwatch for free on PC, it's only on PC, you can do that this weekend. So be on the lookout if you are someone who is not super high in ranking and who's kind of new to the game, because you might be seeing a lot of new people who don't actually play the game yet. But we're going to move on to the next story. If you want to read more about any of these stories, of course, the link is in the description, as always. But the next story is that there are two sets of PTR patch notes. The first set and the big set comes from July 18th, and the second set, which is much smaller, comes from July 20th. So we're going to start with the July 18th patch. There's a couple changes to skins and some new voice lines, and also a change to looking for a group in the hero gallery. If you want to see that, of course, link is in the description. But I'm going to focus more on the hero update. So the first thing I want to talk about is that channeled and transformation update abilities now restore ammunition after completion for some of the heroes. So, the channeled abilities that will restore your ammo are Junkrat's Riptire, Pharah's Barrage, Roadhog's Whole Hog, and Zenyatta's Transcendence. And the transformation abilities affected are Genji's Dragon Blade and Winston's Primal Rage. So if you use any of those ultimates, at the completion of that ultimate, your ammunition will be restored without you having to do it yourself. So that is a big change, a change I'm definitely a fan of, but there's a lot more changes here, specifically to heroes. 5 of the 6 support heroes, the only one that didn't get a change is Zenyatta, but 5 of these support heroes had changes. The first one is Ana, who got a change to her Nano Boost, where it now instantly heals the target for 300 health. Brigitte had a change to her Shield Bash. The cooldown was increased from 6 seconds to 7 seconds. That's a nerf for Brigitte. Moira's Biotic Grasp had a buff. Its passive energy regeneration rate was increased from 2 per second to 2.4 per second. Lucio had a couple changes. His Crossfade had its aura radius increased from 10 to 12 meters, while his Sound Barrier had its temporary shields granted increased from 500 to 750, which is massive. Mercy had a change with the Caduceus Staff, where the healing beam has been reduced from 60 healing per second to 50 healing per second. So they're still touching Mercy and making her worse. But there's other heroes that had changes as well. Doomfist had a change to his Rocket Punch. It no longer impacts Symmetra's teleporter, and it now destroys Symmetra's sentry turrets without stopping his movement. Hanzo's Lunge had its cooldown increased from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. Sombra's head hit volume was reduced. It was basically a bug, so you could fire basically right below her head, near her upper spine, and it would be a headshot. So now it's more accurate. Reinhardt's Barrier Field had its decorative insignia no longer protrude from the shield surface. Therefore, it makes it more consistent with the way it blocks things. Things don't bounce off the insignia and go in different directions anymore. Widowmaker's Grappling Hook had its cooldown increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. And Zarya's energy drain rate reduced from 2 per second to 1.6 per second. And her Graviton Surge had its radius reduced from 8 meters to 6 meters. So those are all the changes to all the heroes from the July 18th PTR patch, but there was also a July 20th patch, I can't speak, which was much smaller, not a lot there. Brigitte had another change, but this one isn't really a nerf or buff, it's just a change to the repair pack. An option to control Brigitte's repair pack targeting sensitivity has been added under the options controls for Brigitte. And Symmetra had her Photon Projector primary fire range increased from 10 to 12. So that is everything changed in the PTR. But we also have some live server stuff. So the live servers have been updated. The big thing, of course, being Wrecking Ball being added into the game. But there's other stuff. The Bastion McCree and Soldier 76 damage fall off increase from 30% to 50%. The damage fall off removal from May's Icicle, and the damage fall off added to Widowmaker's automatic primary fire. The Hanzo Storm Arrow's duration and cooldown nerfs were implemented. The duration of Storm Arrows reducing from 6 seconds to 5 seconds, and the cooldown increasing from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. And Sombra's big stealth and translocator changes where they last indefinitely, but stealth can't contest anymore, and the movement speed was decreased from 70% to 50%, while translocator can now be destroyed, and the radius was reduced for the noise that it makes, and of course you have the option to destroy it. And the change to assault maps that in quick play and arcade, the objective time was reduced from 5 minutes to 4 minutes per control point. And another little thing is that when final objectives on non-control maps are contested for extended amounts of time and attackers have an advantage in numbers, the respawn time for defenders now increases even faster. So those are just some of the changes that are on the live servers. With that comes some things if you are a Twitch Prime member. So if you are a Twitch Prime member, you can unlock some new rewards. So starting yesterday, you can claim 2 Wrecking Ball loot boxes in Overwatch, and those are available through September 3rd, and they contain 4 random items for Wrecking Ball. And Twitch Prime members will also be able to claim a golden loot box in September and another one in October. To do that, of course, if you have Amazon Prime, you can connect your Twitch to your Amazon account, and you can get Twitch Prime, and you can get access to those things. I have it. It's great. It's awesome. So that is it for all the patches and whatnot. It's going to be a long one because we still have a couple other things. A big one is that we have some details on Torbjorn's rework. I will link to the article in the description because there's a lot of stuff here, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. But the big things that they've talked about changing is that Torbjorn no longer has to build his turret and upgrade it. He would basically throw it down in a very similar way to how Tracer throws down her Pulse Bomb, kind of a similar range, and he throws it down, and as soon as he throws it down, it's instantly stage 2, and you only have to use the hammer to repair it to keep it up and keep it from getting destroyed. They've also talked about changing his ultimate, so that his ultimate is no longer Molten Core. So, several changes made to Torbjorn that could come to the servers eventually, but for right now, they're all still in flux, and there's nothing guaranteed yet. So we'll see where this goes with Torbjorn. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to talk about it too much, because we don't know what it's going to be yet, and they're, constantly changing things. So until we get a more solid look at what Torbjorn could be, I'm going to keep this a little bit short. But as we get more information on the Torbjorn reworks and Torbjorn changes that are coming down the line, of course I'll talk about them as we get the information. A few more things though. The next 2 are pretty short. One is that we got the first look at the first Nerf gun that Overwatch has made with Nerf and Hasbro. It is Reaper's Hellfire Shotgun. I will have a link to the tweet in the description, but also the video should be playing on screen right now. So I think it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good. It's one that I'm not surprised we're getting, but it wasn't the first one I thought they'd announce. The other thing that I want to mention is that right now, basically, as you're watching this video, Sabiolby of the New York Excelsior has actually been invited to throw out the first pitch at a Mets game. For those of you who don't know, the New York Excelsior are owned by the same family that own the New York Mets. They've been trying to kind of blend everything together. Sabiolby was supposed to throw out the first pitch at the end of Stage 2. Right after Stage 2 ended and they were the champions, they were meant to all go out to New York, which they did, and then Sabiolby was going to throw out the first pitch at a game. The game got canceled, got postponed, and they didn't give the chance to have Sabiel throw out a first pitch until today. So today against the San Diego Padres, Sabiel will be throwing out the first pitch at the Mets game. But speaking of Sabiel, let's talk about the Overwatch League semifinals and the Overwatch League grand finals. So, in the semifinals, the first day, of course, the Wednesday of action, we saw both games, both the series between the Philadelphia Fusion and the New York Excelsior, as well as the series between the London Spitfire and the Los Angeles Valiant. In both series, the lower-seeded team came out on top. The Philadelphia Fusion won their game Wednesday 3-0 over the New York Excelsior, while the London Spitfire came out on top 3-1 with one map tie against the LA Valiant on Wednesday. Come Friday, London Spitfire 3-0 against the LA Valiant. Move on to the grand finals. The number 5 seed moves on to the grand finals. And on Saturday, in a 5-map 3-2 victory, the Philadelphia Fusion come out on top against the New York Excelsior and will be playing the grand finals. The number 5 seed London Spitfire against the number 6 seed Philadelphia Fusion. I don't think anybody expected these two teams to be the two teams we'd be seeing in the grand finals, but we're here today with those two teams in the grand finals. So, grand finals kick off on Friday, July 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be when we have Game 1. On Saturday, July 28th, we will have Game 2 between Philly and London at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and if necessary, Game 3 at 6 p.m. If you want to watch those streams, you will be rewarded with in-game sprays. If you watch for an hour and a half and 3 hours on both of those days, so an hour and a half Friday, you'll get one spray. 3 hours Friday, you'll get a second spray. And then if you watch an hour and a half on Saturday, you'll get one spray. And for 3 hours, you get a second spray. So if you watch the live streams on Twitch and your Blizzard account is linked to your Twitch account, you will get some nice, cool sprays. So if you want to see those, links in the description. But that is where I want to end this video off. A lot of stuff to cover. Kind of had to run through a lot of these stories. Couldn't go as in depth as I wanted to on some of them, but we'll tackle some more of these topics again, potentially at a later date when they become more in the limelight. Specifically the Torbjorn rework. We'll talk about that more when we get closer to that, when we start to see where that is and how that's actually coming along, while things related to the Overwatch League will be over following this coming week. If you want to vote in the poll that I have running in the cards, should have showed up at the very beginning of the video, but also I'll bring it up now, on who you think is going to win between the Philadelphia Fusion and the London Spitfire. You can feel free to do so up there. I'm interested in seeing what people have to say. But that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. Comment down below your thoughts on the Overwatch League Grand Finals. Anything Overwatch League related, anything Overwatch related, talk about Wrecking Ball, whatever you want to talk about. A lot of stuff that happened this week. So it's a good week if you're an Overwatch fan. But I'm going to sign off here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.